Today on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. As we turn the page of the calendar to 2019, 15 young athletes assembled to compete for the first Prodigy title of the new year. Each was given the option to select which division they would bowl in. 9 chose to compete in the Scratch Division. 6 opted for the Handicap Division. The top 4 in each division have advanced to the show today, where they will all bowl together, each in their own championship round. So right now, let's meet our 8 finalists. First in the Handicap Division, qualifying in the 4th position is Josh Greenberg of our Junior Varsity League. Josh is 12 and carries a league average of 108. He'll meet the number 3 qualifier, Hunter Moffitt. Hunter is 11 and carries a 155 average in our Junior Varsity League. The winner of that opening match will face our number 2 qualifier, Brandon Caraviti. Brandon is 14 and bowls in our Roswell Varsity League. His league average is 152. The winner of that match will bowl for the championship today against our top seed, Faith Roper. Faith is 13, bowls in our varsity league, and carries an average of 158. That's our field in the Handicap Division. Bowling on the same pair of lanes at the same time with the Handicap kids will be our Scratch finalists. In the 4th position is Garrett Haley. Garrett bowls over at AMF Woodstock. He's on the Georgia All-Stars team, an elite travel team that bowls throughout the Southeast. Garrett will be looking for his first win on Prodigy Bowlers Tour today. He'll face our number 3 qualifier, Big Logan Mathis. A teammate of Garrett's on the Georgia All-Stars team, Big Logan was on the winning team of last summer's Prodigy Invitational Team Showdown and captured his first singles title last October on our Trick or Treat As Easy as 1, 2, 3 episode. The winner of that match will advance to face our 2 seed, making her first appearance on Prodigy Bowlers Tour, Emily Reddick. Emily had long been one of the top girl bowlers in Georgia youth bowling. Last spring, she graduated high school and is now attending Louisiana Tech and is a star on the Lady Texters bowling team. And the winner of that match will bowl for the championship today against our tournament leader, Jacob Ballinger. Of all the players in our field today, this young man is the one with national television experience, having bowled for the USA Bowling National Team Championship a couple of years ago. He's already assured of his highest finish ever on Prodigy, and he'd like to make it win number 1. And that's our field today. Celebrating junior bowling, elevating junior bowlers. This is Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Live on tape from Brunswick's own Roswell in Roswell, Georgia. I'm Coach Randy, welcoming you to episode 81 of Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Turn the page. We put these kids through a 2-game qualifier over 2 pairs of lanes. For the kids competing in the Handicap Division, the handicap was set at 90% of the difference between their average and 200. After the first game, Brandon Caraviti got off to the early lead with Faith Roper right on his heels. Josh Greenberg, with his enormous handicap, was close behind. Hunter Moffitt was on the outside looking in. Over in the Scratch Division, Emily Reddick made a big statement early that she came to play, despite traveling home for the holidays with a limited arsenal. Charlie Bostic, who was taking a break from traveling to out-of-town tournaments, was in the hunt early, while Garrett Haley had not yet found the path to success. It was good to see Melissa McConnell back in town for the holiday break, and despite not having her arsenal here with her, I loaned her some of my bowling balls to give her something to throw. Then in Game 2, Faith Roper made her move in the Handicap Division with a 218 scratch, which vaulted her into the lead, as Hunter also broke 200 scratch to jump up into third. And in the Scratch Division, Emily Rettig ran into some trouble in Game 2, but held on to second, as Jacob Ballinger threw a strong 226 to go along with his opening 211 to seize the lead. It came down to Garrett Haley and Charlie Bostic for the fourth position, and Garrett just nipped Charlie by 5 pins at the end. They're bowling today on the oil pattern known as Turnpike. 41 feet in length, this pattern falls well within what you might call normal volume. But the 2.4 to 1 ratio means you better hit what you're looking at, or you're going to be paying a hefty toll. So, without further delay, let's get 2019 underway on Prodigy Bowlers Tour with our first match of the year. We're bowling 4 players at a time. The 2 handicap players will lead off on both lanes, while the scratch players will bowl as anchors on both lanes. We'll bowl league style with players switching lanes each frame as usual. In the Handicap Division, the number 4 seed Josh Greenberg gets 82 pins in handicap, while our 3 seed Hunter Moffett gets 36. That's a differential of 46 pins, so we'll add 46 to Josh's score in the first frame, so you don't have to add a thing. And in the Scratch Division, our 4 seed Garrett Haley will be bowling against Big Logan Mathis. Our higher seeds, Hunter and Logan, had the choice of starting lanes. So here we go with a new year of bowling on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. And Hunter is going to throw the first shot of the new year. And he swishes the rack, so strike right out of the gate in 2019 for Hunter. Now Josh. No. Well, his first shot of the new year, less auspicious for sure. Now Garrett. And he gets that light shaker to go. So he starts out the right way. Josh for the spare. Oh, man. That Brooklyn almost took them all out, but that's 9 out. Now you see that his 46-pin handicap differential has been added into his score in the first frame. So 55 in the first. And now Big Logan. Oh my goodness. He gets a crossover to go. Josh now in the second. Comes in light, leaves the 4-8. Well, as you can see, with 4 players on the pair of lanes, it'll be continuous action, so you won't see any replays today. And Hunter comes up a little high, leaves the 6-10. Josh going for the spare. That's got a hook. Doesn't quite make it back, so an open in the second. Hunter moves left and just runs by the 6-pin, so an open for him in the second frame. Big Logan. Wide of the mark, and look at this. 6 and a couple of wiggles. Garrett gets the trip 4. So Garrett gets the first double of the new year. And now Logan will go for the 2-4-8-10. This can be made. The best way to shoot it is with a big hook. But he's going straight with a backup and whiffs them all. That's not what he wanted. So now Josh back on the left lane. And you could tell right off his hand that was left of his target as he pulled that. These little guys, especially these two-handers, they need to keep their elbow in. When the elbow kicks out, they tend to get outside the ball with their hand, and it tends to make them pull it. 7 out for Josh. Meanwhile, Hunter's got the big 4 staring at him. Not much you can do with that. Just take 2. Just take your medicine when you leave these. And he only gets 1. So Big Logan up on the left. You could see him look down at his feet. I don't know if he stuck or slipped, but something wasn't right. Had to like the result, and Garrett gets a nose dive. Hunter comes in light, leaves the 2-4-5 as Josh moves over to the right lane looking for his first mark. Oh my goodness. Put that one right in the pocket, but it drives through and leaves the 9. Hunter for the spare. And he just didn't give that one room. So another open. That's 3 opens in a row for Hunter, who's usually a really good spare shooter. And there's a spare for Josh. Garrett string stops after 3 as he leaves a weak 10. And now Logan working on a strike. Would love to put another one up here and chip away at Garrett's lead. But instead he crosses over, nearly trips the 6. Garrett goes cross lane at the 10 and takes care of it. So he's got 79 through 3. Logan with a conversion will have 42 in the 3rd. So he'll be 37 behind with a conversion. But instead he tosses it in the moat, and Garrett's lead grows. Josh got that one out a little bit, but it never came back. So it didn't drive through to get the 5, and now he's got a difficult split. And Hunter, stomping his feet, leaves the super washout, the 1-2, 6-8, 10.
Well, I was there on the religious reason, but they had another top call here where I went. I didn't know it.
Josh going for the 5-7, gets too much 5. And that's another open frame as these young fellas are having some difficulty closing their frames. Not what they're looking for. Hunter. I'm not sure if he was trying to go between the 1 and the 6, but that spare with the 8-pin up, you definitely want to go for the left side of the head pin. But in any case, it's another open frame, and Hunter now has 4 opens in a row. Did I mention the super washout a moment ago? There it is in its classic form. Garrett, light, leaves the 2. Well, now that is not the way we recommend shooting it. He hit the head pin solid. And I don't know what got the 6 and 10. And my goodness, suddenly we're having an open fest. Hunter crosses over, leaves the 5. Let's see some marks, guys. Well, more challenges ahead. The 3, 6, 7, 10 for Josh. All right, Hunter, you can get the 5 pin. Well, this pattern they're bowling on proving very challenging. That's a good try at that split by Josh, but it's another open, so he has 5 opens in 6 frames. And so does Hunter, who started with a strike and hasn't been able to close a frame since. Who'd have guessed that? Once again, Logan crosses over and leaves the 6. Garrett. There's a strike. And once again, Logan whiffs the 6. So what's going on here? My goodness. These guys are better bowlers than that. They wouldn't have made the step ladder if they bowled like that all day. Josh misses the head pin, leaves the 1, 2, 9 as Hunter moves to the right lane. My goodness. I don't know what to say. These guys are just struggling. There's a spare by Josh. Well, Hunter's got some ground to cover. Remember, he was spotting Josh 46 pins. And there's his 6th open in a row. And look at this, Logan is just dispensed with trying to hook the ball or find a line. He's just going with the high, hard one down the left side of the lane. High hit for Garrett. And there's a spare for Logan, but he's got a lot of ground to cover as well. He's 49 pins behind. And Hunter just never gives that one room as Garrett covers his single pin spare. All right, Hunter, come on. The 1, 2, 3, 5. Throw it like a strike. Well, he does, but it doesn't drive through. Leaves the 5. My goodness. What's going on here? Josh, a little high, leaves the 6-10. Garrett with a commanding lead now. And that strike will keep him out ahead. Josh would do well to learn to either throw a backup ball or come straight up the back of the ball when he's throwing at those right side spares. Big Logan just going through the motions now. I think he knows he's beat. He's holding up the white flag. 4-6 split. If anybody could bounce one out, it's Big Logan. Not this time. Oh, look out. Josh just pulled that one. Hunter, light in the pocket. The 2-4-5. He's going to need a mark somewhere just to break 100. And it hooks by and leaves the 5. That's not wide enough. Josh, he's already won the game, but not what he wanted there. All right, Garrett, put this thing away. There's a strike. And Big Logan just heaving it as hard as he can. Garrett has this match won. It's Garrett and Josh who are going to be moving on. Logan covers the 4-7. Now Josh. There, he gave that one a little more room. There you go. Strike in the 10th. Hunter a little high, leaves the 3-6. I know he wants to make this just to break 100. And that one comes up just a little high, leaves a 4. So Josh is going to be in the 160s. And Hunter gets a spare in the 10th. And Josh covers the single pin spare. He finishes with a 161. Now, that includes his 46 pin handicap differential added in. As Hunter gets 8 on the final ball for a 103. It's got to be Hunter's lowest game ever on Prodigy, I would imagine. Hey, you have days like that sometimes. He bowled well in qualifying to get here, but just wasn't able to put it together in the championship round. Garrett trying a different ball. If he wants to continue throwing that one in the second game, he's going to have to make some kind of adjustment. And he wasn't even trying to make that spare. That was an exploratory play to try to find the pocket, and it still came up light. So he may have a little more adjusting to do if he wants to use that ball in game 2. Meanwhile, Logan with his fill ball heaves it out on the lane and into the moat. I think that one hung on his thumb, so he's done for the day with a 134. Josh will face Brandon. Garrett will face Emily in match 2 when we return.
This is it, the new gyro balance ball by Ebonite, world's first and only professional bowling ball. And this is Don Carter, the man who conceived it. Over there, Carmen Salvino, Ray Bluth, Harry Smith, Bill Allen, and Billy Hardwick, some of the greatest bowlers in the world today. Every one of these men bowls for a living, and every one bowls Ebonite's new Don Carter gyro balanced ball. Custom balanced to control your hook precisely. Custom weighted on top to put the power where the pins are. Why are so many pros making the big switch to Ebonite? Simply because they win more money with it. That's the ball, the pro ball, the custom ball with the big Y that puts the power where the pins are. Ebonite's new Don Carter gyro balance, the ball that gives you the Ebonite edge. Since Don Carter gyro balance balls take longer to build, make sure you order yours now.
So in his last 2 games of this event, Hunter fired games of 204 and 103. Clearly that last game was not what he was hoping for. And Josh actually beat him scratch. He didn't need those 46 pins of handicap after all. So it's Josh Greenberg who's moving on to face Brandon Caraviti in match 2. And over in the scratch division, Big Logan just never could quite find the line. You know, it's funny, but when we drew lane assignments for qualifying, he didn't want to bowl on the end pair, 39 and 40. But then he bowled his highest game there. And when he moved to 33 and 34, he fell off a bit. And then for his third game in this event, moving to 37 and 38, well, you just saw it. The bottom fell out. Well, there's always next week. So it's Garrett Haley who's moving on to match 2, where he'll face Emily Rettig. Emily is making her debut appearance on Prodigy Bowlers Tour today, and I'm sure she'll want to represent the Lady Texters at Louisiana Tech today. Okay, now for the handicap between Josh and Brandon. Josh gets 82 pins handicap, and Brandon gets 43. That's a differential of 39 pins. So we'll add 39 to Josh's score in the first frame, so you won't have to add a thing. And once again, our higher seeds, Brandon and Emily, have the choice of starting lanes. Josh, once again, doesn't get it to push quite enough. He misses the head pin on the left, leaves the 1-3-6. Now, our first look at Brandon today. And he too doesn't get that ball out to the right quite far enough, and he's got a difficult spare to start, the 3-9. Well, Josh gave that one a little more room, a little too much room. Well, the 3-9 is no bargain either, and we just saw something that you don't see very often. Brandon taking out the back pin only, but that's an open to start. And Garrett trips the 4 to get off to a fast start with a strike in the first. And now our first look at Emily Rettig on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Comes up a little thin, leaves the 2-5. There's a solid strike for Brandon in the second frame. So he's on the board. As Emily carefully wipes down her bowling ball, you'll see she has a very professional, very business-like approach to this game. Covers the spare. And now Josh, who you see has 46 in the first frame. That's because his 39 pins of handicap differential have been added into his score. And we've got a balk. Ball may have slipped on his hand. Not sure, but it was smart for him to go back and start again. But that is wide of the mark. And a little piece of advice for you guys. If you feel like the ball is slipping off your hand during your approach and you go back to start over, set the ball down, dry your hand on the hand dryer, and then go. Josh just left his fingers in the ball, and my recommendation would be to go ahead and dry them off. Start completely over from the beginning of your pre-shot routine. Now Emily on the left lane. And she comes up high but trips the 4. So that is a spare strike start. Josh nearly getting that spare on the Brooklyn side, but the 7 remains, and that's back-to-back opens. Now Garrett working on a strike. And he slips at the line. You could tell he looked down at the approach and has the 2-8. Well, I tell you what, a little more speed, that would have held the line for Josh, but instead, he goes right through the nose and leaves the 4-7-10. And Garrett whiffs the 2-8 on the left side. Well, it was going to be a great shot if he had made that. Might have called that a little improbable, but to miss all 3 pins, that wasn't expected. And what is this? What is this? The disease is spreading. All right, Garrett. Man, ringing 10. Thing I like so much about his game, he gets so low at the foul line with a deep knee bend. Man, you can't do it much better. Now watch Brandon. Very little knee bend. And he lets that ball go from a good foot and a half off the approach. I'd like to see him get lower. We'll talk about Brandon's game a little more here when he gets up. But first, we'll have another look at Emily. She came up light on the right lane in the first frame. See if she makes the adjustment. No. A little bit thin again, leaves the 2. Now watch Brandon. Watch how straight his left knee is when he gets to the foul line. He gets down by bending forward at the waist rather than bending the knee. He actually reared up on that one. But most of the time he gets a lot of forward tilt with the spine, but very little knee bend. And we're going to go to work on that with Brandon. If he'll watch players like Emily, like Garrett, he'll get the idea. You want to get that left knee bent at the foul line. See how straight it is? You get down by bending the left knee, the slide leg. Not so much forward tilt. All right, Josh nearly crosses over, gets 8, leaves the 6-10. He's thinking about it. That was better. I'd like to see him follow through a little more. You want to see a good follow through. Watch Emily. Watch how her right arm comes straight through the shot. Straight up. She pulled that one a little bit, but her follow through is textbook. Now Garrett working on a spare. You could see him wave at it. He knew that was wide of the mark. And now he's got trouble. The 2-10. At least the 8 went out. Emily will go cross lane at the 6 pin. And she makes short work of it. Pretty good try by Garrett at the 2-10, but that is another open frame, and he has 2 opens in 4 frames. And you can't do that against a quality opponent like Emily Redding. All right, Josh back up on the left. He's working on a spare. Got to push. 1-3-6. There's a good strike by Brandon. Now Josh will want to throw this just like you throw a strike. Put this ball right on the 1-3. Just like that. All right, Emily. And she adjusted for those 2 light hits on the right lane. And now she's found the line, tripping the 4, and gets her first strike on lane 38. Ooh. Garrett gets a break. Nearly had an impossible split. The 6 goes out. And now he's got the 4-7 as he has just set 1 ball aside. And I think he has made a strategic decision. Now Josh. That's a good shot right there, right in the hole. And my goodness, Garrett misses the 4-7, hooking by the 4-pin. And that's 3 open frames out of 5 so far. Josh tries to flatten it out. He got it to go straight, just missed wide. And I don't know how Brandon got 8 out of that, but he'll take it, I'm sure. That one was in the weeds. Well, Garrett looks to be lost now. A high hit, 6-9. He'll go cross lane at it. And there's a spare. All right, Emily. Got a strike up. She can extend her lead. Week 10. Good commercial shot, keeping it in play. Now watch Brandon and see if he falls off to the right, off balance, when he lets it go. Well, another balk. Once again, maybe the ball just slipped in his hand. Maybe he caught something out of the corner of his eye that distracted him, whatever. He did the right thing. That's what you do when you've got to restart, is set the ball down and just start your pre-shot routine over from the beginning. Emily will go for her spare. She throws plastic at these spares and takes care of the 10-pin, makes it look easy. All right, once again, watch Brandon and see if he falls off balance to the right. He does that a lot. See? What usually causes that is getting the spine angle too far forward, tipped too far forward. Your body knows not to step forward to catch yourself or you'll foul, so you step off to the right. There's a pocket hit by Josh, another 10-pin. He's going to have to learn how to make those 10-pins. He's going to leave a lot of them in his life. If Brandon would just keep his spine angle a little more erect. Ooh, that is a tough way to miss the 1-3-9. He would be in better balance at the foul line. And that's one of the things we're going to work on with him. He needs to learn how to stick the landing and finish in perfect balance. When you're off balance at the foul line, you leak tons of leverage. And into Never Never Land for Josh, but his handicap has him still in this match. He's leading by 13 at the moment. And Emily just pulled that one into the next county. If it was a golf shot, you'd say she pulled that one so far she hit it into the next fairway. Sometimes you get pretty good angle from there. Garrett finds the pocket and gets a strike. So now let's see what Josh can do to put a little heat on Brandon, who's been creeping up on him. Oh, man! That was a good shot. A stone 7. There you go, Brandon. Sometimes even without the leverage, even out of balance, you hit the right spot, the pins will go. They don't care. Hook, hook. Not this time. So now Josh and Brandon separated by just 2 pins. That's more like what Emily's looking for. And Garrett gets the messenger to go for his first double of this match. And who knows? Don't count out Garrett. He can string them. High hit, nearly crossed over. Josh leaves the 6-10. And that strike gives Brandon the lead. So he moves out ahead in the 9th frame. Josh needs to make this spare. But it falls off into the gutter, so he'll have 133 in the 9th. He has a possible 163 with his handicap differential. Brandon will need some kind of mark. Emily crosses over again and gets another strike. And Garrett rips the rack. So look at this. All of a sudden, our scratch players coming alive here toward the end of the match. Garrett trying to chase down Emily. He trails by 37. And now Josh, he's just got to go to the whip and throw strikes here in the 10th and hope for the best. Well, there's one. Don't count him out yet. Uh-oh. Oh, my goodness. Are you kidding? What a break. So now Brandon, if he were to miss both of those, he'd have 149 in the 9th, 157. Josh could win with another couple of strikes. Oh, no! That's going to end it right there. And Brandon has won the match between these two handicap players. Josh had to have that strike. Oh, and look at this. Brandon did whiff the spare. So if Josh had carried that strike, he'd have a possible 163. He would have just needed 5 pins on the last ball to win. But it's not to be. He gets the spare, though, and finishes with a respectable 153. It's a 4-pin match between those two. Emily leaving the 4-pin. That 9 count, I believe, will put it away. Yep. So she's moving on. And Garrett shreds him again. He's going to bail out a good game here. He had a bumpy start to this second match, but he's come alive since the 7th frame. But Emily just bowled I won't call it a flawless game, but certainly a clean game. And she just never gave Garrett an opening. There's another solid pocket hit by Garrett. He'll be in the 200s with 8 or better. And now a possible 218 for Emily with a strike here on the fill. Well, she crosses over, gets 9. That's a 217. And that's a heck of a game. And a 201 for Garrett to go with the 201 that he bowled in the first game. But it is Emily and Brandon. They will move on. Brandon against Faith. Emily will bowl Jacob for the title next.
Look who's driving up on a bowling date. It's Carol Christensen, the AMF bowling girl.
Hi, everybody. Come on along and join us, where you see the magic triangle.
Sign of AMF Automatic Pin Spotters. It's hard to realize that Carol first went bowling not so many months ago. Look at her now. A strike in the first frame. That wide-open bowling area with no distractions is one of the modern features of AMF's famous underlane ball return. It delivers the ball at the rear of the bowling area where it belongs.
It's just one of the reasons why so many fans have much more fun at Magic Triangle Centers. Next time you go bowling, won't you join us?
Well, Josh nearly pulled off a huge upset. He just needed that second strike in the 10th to go, and he'd be moving on. But as it is, he should be proud of the fact that for the first time, he actually won a match on Prodigy, and very nearly won a second. But it's Brandon Caraviti who got it done, and now he'll face Faith Roper in the championship match. Brandon just won his first singles title on Prodigy the last time we held a competition for the Handicap Division back on the December beatdown. Can he make it 2 in a row? Faith may have something to say about that. And over in the Scratch Division, Garrett put on a strong finish to make it look respectable, but he just gave up too much ground in the first 6 frames, and Emily is just not a player who's going to beat herself. So Emily Reddig has earned the right to bowl for the championship against our tournament leader, Jacob Ballinger. One thing we know for sure is we're going to have a first-time winner coming out of the Scratch Division today on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. The only question is, which one will it be? It's a battle of the sexes in both divisions as they bowl to see whose names will be going on the Coveted Trophy Pin this week. Now, as far as the handicap is concerned, Brandon Caraviti receives 43 pins handicap. Faith Roper gets 37. That's a differential of 6 pins. So we will be adding 6 pins to Brandon's score in the very first frame, so you don't have to keep track of it. The higher qualifiers had the choice of starting lanes. And a good opening toss by Faith right in the pocket. And you may notice something a little different about Faith today. Well, a couple of different things. One, she got her braces off, so she's pretty happy about that. She's throwing it with a little more authority now. Oh, no! Brandon could have used a little more authority with that one. A little more speed might have kept it from jumping through the nose. And there's a good spare by Faith. Now Brandon's got his hands full with the Greek church, the 4, 6, 7, 9, 10. The smart money says go for the 3 on the right. And look at this, he goes one-handed at it. Well, he gets 6 out. Jacob Ballinger fireballs it, but gets the fast 8, leaving the 4, 7. Talk about somebody who can generate some ball speed with the two-handed method. Jacob's your guy. All right, Emily. Well, she started out the last game coming up light on the right lane also. Jacob takes care of the 4, 7 without any problem. I'll tell you what, this oil pattern they're bowling on, Turnpike, is pretty difficult. A 2.4 to 1 ratio. That is very demanding. Even though there's a track worn in by now with all the play, it's still tough. And Emily covers the bucket. So our scratch players off and running, both of them with a mark. Now you'll notice Brandon has 12 in the first frame. That's because his 6 pins handicap differential is added in. Brooklyn, 5 pin. And Faith goes high this time. Leaves the 3, 6, 10. So already she has overcome the 6 pins that she was spotting Brandon. Brandon brings that one back for a conversion. Faith covers the 3, 6, 10 without a problem. So 2 good spares there. As we move to the bottom of the order, our anchor bowlers. Jacob Ballinger up on the right lane, working on a spare. And boom, out go the lights. Yikes. Her first big mistake of the day as Emily pulled that one. And she pays the price going through the nose, leaving the 6, 7, 10. That's a pretty good pass by Brandon, but the ringing 10. So Emily will move to the extreme left and try to slide the 6 over into the 7. Now she may have just been going for the count early in the match. In any case, it's an open frame. And Brandon sends that one wide and into the moat. Oh, 9 and a wiggle is all you're gonna get this time, young lady. Nearly had the 4, 7, 10. The 7, 10 went out, so that's a good thing. And now she's got the 4. And she takes care of it. Now Emily up on the right. And she rips the rack. Jacob, with a strike working, can extend his lead. But instead he pulls it, goes through the nose, and leaves the 3. As Faith moves over to the right lane, 3 spares so far. Oh, nearly had the 6, 7, 10. She's getting some good breaks, breaking up splits. A spare for Jacob in the 3rd. And that'll give him 40 through 2 and a 14-pin lead over Emily. Look out. Wide of the mark. And Faith makes her first mistake this match. Brandon shakes him up and gets a wall shot. So we've got a close match in the Handicap Division. And look at that. Wow. Jacob saws him in half. So Emily better get busy here or she might get left behind. How about that one right there? A frozen rope to the pocket. Oh, Brandon gets a huge break. The 4-9 goes out late, and that's a double. And Faith just fractionally high, gets no break at all, leaving the 4-7. So Brandon with a slight lead of 7 pins in their match. Emily trailing by 4. Not anymore, she's not. That strike puts her up by 6. Faith covers her spare. And now Jacob looking for his first strike on this left lane. He could use one right here. Move back out ahead. Oh, and down goes the 9-pin. So he's back in the lead. Faith just a little high that time. And now she's got the baby split, the 3-10. Brandon with good extension on that one, gets it to push just enough. Trips the 4, and that's a turkey. A little too much 3-pin for Faith. That's another open frame in this match. So 90 through 6. And she's falling behind. Emily trying to take the lead back. And 10 in the pit. Wow. She serves notice that she will back down to no one. And Jacob says, I got your strike right here. Look at these two. Faith gets a Brooklyn strike, and boy, she needed it. Brandon now up in the 7th. He's got 3 strikes in a row. And a double working. Uh-oh, the string stops there. As he leaves the 6, 7, 10. Now Jacob, a possible 270. Emily with a possible 266. Oh boy. Well, that one headed to Never Never Land. A 5 count breaks his string at 3. And Brandon whips all 3 pins here in the 7th. So that tightens that match. Boy, that was a much-needed spare by Jacob in the 7th. And now Emily can extend her lead. And she goes up by 11 with that one. As it's getting late. Brandon breaks up the split, leaves just 2. Faith can... Oh, she could have closed the match down to just 1 pin with a strike there. But she just gets 9 and a little shaker. The 6 just giggling at her a little bit. This time Brandon covers the spare, and he needed it. Faith needs to cover this 6 pin. And she does. So Brandon a possible 201. Faith a possible 190. This time Emily comes up a little light, leaves the 2 pin. So that match is 10 pins separating the 2 players. Uh-oh. Trouble. 6, 7, 10 for Jacob. And boy, if ever there was a time you needed one, it's right here. Emily with an easy spare. You won't see her give many of those away. Jacob for the split. Not to be. So Emily's lead grows to 24. So we start to see a little separation now. This match, an 11-pin affair. And that'll make it 10. Oh no, Faith goes through the nose and leaves a split. Well, you know what? She almost made the 6, 7, 10 in one of her recent appearances on Prodigy, and she could use one now. There's a spare by Brandon, and here in the 9th frame, this is no time for opens. Faith has got to go all out for this. Well, if she'd have hit the 6 pin that thin on the other side, she might have made it. But now, she's in trouble. Crunch! Emily with a strike in the 9th, and that really squeezes Jacob. He has a possible 221. Emily would just need a mark in the 10th and good count. Oh, and a double dribble and a 6, 7, 10. Are you kidding me? Back to back 6, 7, 10s. Well, I'm sure Jacob is not a happy camper with that, but let's see you make it this time. Well, he gave it a ride, but that is going to make his job very difficult from here. The best he can do is 200. Emily is already sitting at 195 before she throws another ball. All right, Faith, a possible 165. Brandon sitting at 150 with this spare. Ooh. That'll give him 157 through 9. Well, and Faith needed that strike. With 3 strikes in the 10th, she could have shot 165. Brandon would have had to have gotten one of these 3 pins to get to 165. That would have done it for him. It is Brandon who will be signing the coveted trophy pin in the Handicap Division. Faith put up a good fight, but she's going to come up just a few pins short. Meanwhile, Emily just needs good count here. And that's going to do it. That'll give her at least 204 in the 9th. There's an 8 count for Faith. It's Emily and Brandon who are your winners today on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Another double dribble by Jacob, but boy, he gets so many revs, it doesn't matter. He does get super low. I'm surprised he doesn't double dribble more often. Well, Emily just did the same thing to Jacob that she did to Garrett the previous match. Just didn't give him any room to breathe. Solid 10. He's going to finish with a 190 if he converts the spare. Emily's going to be in the 220s. That is a 224. And Jacob with a 190, so how about this? Emily makes the most of her first appearance on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. We'll get her and Brandon to sign the coveted trophy pin when we return. Hey, it's me, Coach Randy, with exciting news about a new way you can help support Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Over the past couple of years, we've had a number of Prodigy fans say they'd love to offer something in payment for the Prodigy content seen each week on YouTube throughout the bowling season. Well, I'm pleased to announce that Prodigy is now on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Now, in case you're not familiar with it, Patreon is a platform where YouTube content consumers like you can connect directly with YouTube content creators like me and pledge a small amount of money each month to support the work that goes into creating the content that you enjoy watching. It's based on the age-old concept of patrons. About 30 to 40 hours of work goes into the production of each and every episode of Prodigy Bowlers Tour. So if you enjoy the content on Prodigy Bowlers Tour each week and you'd like to support the show, please check it out at patreon.com/Prodigy Bowlers Tour. There are 4 affordable subscription tiers, and each one offers a different reward, up to and including sneak peeks of shows before they're released to the public, exclusive behind-the-scenes content that only members will ever see, and there's even a tier that will enable you to get all that and get your name in the credits each week as a producer of the show. You'll be helping me to be able to continue making the show each week and even reinvest some of the money into improving the show going forward. Thanks for checking it out, and thanks for supporting Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Well, Faith Roper gave Brandon Caraviti a tussle, but a missed spare in the 4th and a couple of splits in the second half of the match put Faith in a tough spot at the end. And Brandon put a critical turkey together in the middle of the match to give him just enough breathing room to be able to walk this one home. And over in the scratch division, all I can say is, now you know why I've been trying to get Emily Rettig on the show for the past couple of years. Jacob Ballinger is a fine young bowler and knows a thing or two about performing in the clutch. But on this day, Emily was just too tough for everyone, throwing a 257 out of the gate in qualifying and then a 217 and a 224 in the championship round today. That's some fine bowling by a terrific young bowler who has her sights set on bigger and better things. Don't be surprised if you see her bowling again on TV someday in the future. But for now, you'll just have to be content to watch her and Brandon sign the coveted trophy pin.
Well, Prodigy fans have come to know this guy, and we're about to throw you out of the Handicap Division once and for all. Yeah. But it's another win. But here's a face that Prodigy viewers haven't seen before. It's Emily. Tell us a little bit about you.
I attend college at Louisiana Tech University, so we stay pretty busy, but I'm glad I was able to get out here and bowl on Prodigy while I'm home on break.
So we're glad you came by. I've been trying to get you on the show for like 2 years.
Made it.
Yeah, finally made it. You made the trip worthwhile, yeah. I'd say.
Yeah.
You showed all these guys how it's done.
Yeah.
So you bowled your junior league at Stars and Stripes in Cumming.
Yes.
And your mom ran the program.
Yeah, she did.
And then when she left, the place fell apart, and now all the kids are bowling here with us. Because once the Rettigs were gone, it's like, what's the point, really? Yeah, so anyway, well, I guess you know that there's a little ritual here that goes along with winning. Here, Brandon, show her how it's done.
With pleasure.
I think Brandon is going to pick a specific spot on the pin. You have strategically chosen a location. Would you like to describe it?
Well, Nick Dissinger has been winning a lot, so I feel like if I block him right here, he can't win anymore.
Well, there you go. It might work. I wouldn't bet on it, but yeah, Nick wasn't here today, so if ever there was a time to make a run, today was the day. He's kind of owned this place here lately. So Brandon Caraviti, this is now 3 times he gets his signature. Now this year, of course, the coveted trophy pin is also the coveted colorful trophy pin. So Emily is going with the pink look.
Go down.
We always recommend staying away from the neck because that's the part that gets rubbed, and you notice everybody's name that's up by the neck is like faded away. Like Faith Roper, for instance, who we're going to start calling her Faded Roper because she's... Anyway, did you have fun today?
Yes, I did.
Awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
Congratulations. Way to go.